me.
Let me just check co-host as well. Let me get
No, I can also do it.
Yeah, I just added you as co-host, no problem. Good. Okay, welcome. I think we've got a good turnout already. We might have some straddlers coming in, no problem. They can join us as we go. So firstly, this is a meet where everyone is visible and can speak. So please do mute your microphone. You'll probably hear some rustling background noises otherwise, so make sure it's muted. And we will have times where we'll ask audience questions. Feel free to use the hand button at the bottom. And if you have it now, feel free to emoji react if you see that option. That's a new option for you. It's good because we get some we get some feedback too. That's great. It's much nicer than just a silent room. Good. Okay, and I want to introduce the team. So welcome to our quarterly What's New from Devo team. We have a new face. We have lots of content, so we'll get started with that as well. So Walter, if you can skip to the next, I'd even say the slide after the next one, and we can do some introductions. So I'm not going to introduce myself because I've been in the last ones. There's recordings, so you can see that too. But we do have a new face, so perhaps Simone can introduce herself and say a few words.
Hi everyone, Simone French is my name. I'm the Workspace or Google Workspace team lead based in Sweden. I've actually been with Devo team for about 5.5 years now, but changed roles at the end of last year. So hopefully I'll be seeing a few more of you on these quarterly calls. Nice to meet you all.
Great. And we have the regulars here as well. I actually, on purpose, I'm going to skip all intros just because we have got so much content and we have done these before. So if we want to, we can get going. So let's get over to communications and our first one. I think it's you, Walter. Oh, no, it's Simone. Okay.
It's me. So this is basically just a reminder. The timeline has been extended. So this is a reminder to migrate your classic Google sites before January 30th. So until January 30th, admins and site owners can still manually convert classic sites to new sites. On January 30th, Google will be turning off the ability to edit any remaining sites in your domain. And then after the 30th of January, Google will begin to automatically convert all the remaining classic sites to new sites. So again, just a reminder on that one.
Oh, sorry.
That's it. Next one.
Yes, the next one is a nice new feature. I'm going to demo it as well. In the last few months, already some new features emailing were introduced. You can already create a nice looking email with a nice interface with some images in it. And there was also already the multi-send mode where you can automatically send it to a group of people, and it will be automatically in BCC. And now they've added a feature with smart chips where you can also add the first name and the last name you're sending to. I would like to demo that for this purpose. So when I go to Gmail, this is already an example of it. I can compose a new email. Then I can click here on the bottom side, I can toggle multi-send mode. And this will mean all the people who will receive that email, for instance, Pablo, Brecht, it will automatically be in BCC. And you will also automatically get an unsubscribe button. And now I would like to choose a nice layout, which of course I can customize. I can replace the image and I can create a nice text. And this new feature allows this. When I type the add menu, I can now say first name, again, surname, and then I can type my message. This is our newsletter. And so that's really nice, I think, because it makes it a lot more personal. Instead of a dear customer or whatsoever, you really get their first and last name in that email. And so I think it's a nice small addition to this feature.
And I want to add something to that, Walter, which is a really good point. Be careful with send limits. It's really easy to start thinking, oh, I'm going to send this out to lots of people. You have different send limits for internal messages as external messages. And this is kind of a little bit of a leash or a lead to get closer to those limits. So please be careful. There's a support documentation. We can follow up with that as well if you want, with your sending limits. And they're all different according to how many users you have. So just please be careful with send limits when using this.
Yeah, and I think what's important here as well, Pablo, is the use case, because it's not a professional marketing tool for sending emails, but it can be a simple tool for small emailings. That's the way I see it. So, okay, let's go on to the next one. Simone?
Yep. 2 updates were announced at Google Cloud Next that should be rolled out now. The first one is that Google Meet can now automatically frame your video. So before joining a meeting, you would adjust this to make sure that there's equal visibility of all participants on the call. So this needs to be turned on by the user from the settings option in Meet before the call. So that's the first one. And the second one is that meeting hosts can now assign conference rooms to breakout rooms from Google Meet hardware devices. And this is just a feature to ensure a more collaborative experience, whether you're working from home or from the office. Next slide, Walter.
Yep. That's for me. And I think a really powerful one is the transcribe speech feature. You can now everything that's being said can be automatically transcribed into a Google Doc. We're doing that now. So after the call, we have a nice document. That's also a feature I would like to demo. Let's see if we can do this in a good way. When I go to my calendar now, I see a meeting in my calendar, and I can join it. So let me join it. And now I can go to the, oh, that's a wrong button. I can go click on this button here on this side. Oh, I'm sorry. And I can record it. And I can also click the transcript function. Click transcript. Everything what I will say will be recorded, but also transcribed, as you can see. And now we'll stop doing that because everything will be shared in the doc. I left the call now, and within a couple of minutes, I should have a document here. And in that document, we will see a transcript of the meeting with really nice notifications with who has said something that can be really useful, of course. It can take a couple of minutes before it lands in my inbox, so probably will take a bit too long to show, but maybe I can show it afterwards. I'm going to give it a sec. Well, it's going to probably need some more time, but if we have time in the end, I will show you the transcript.
Well, so maybe we can explain which SKUs this is for in the meantime, because I think transcribe, you won't see, not everyone will see that. You need to have recording, which I believe, and correct me someone if I'm wrong, I believe that's enterprise for sure. I think the business SKUs have it as well, but transcribe it. And we just need to check, actually. I thought it was on the slide, but it's not all SKUs that have transcribe.
That's true. And another feature is that you can also see in your list of attendees in a Google Meet who was invited and who's in a call. Sometimes you're waiting a long time for everyone to enter and you forgot, okay, did I invite my entire team? And now you can see who was invited and who already joined the call. It's a small update, but I think it can be very useful. Okay, next one, Brecht, for you.
Yes. So these are the really fun things that are coming. So if you want to get nuts, Google allows you to go and get nuts. Not sure if this is something that will keep you focused, but it's certainly something that will keep you distracted during busy corporate calls. So there are some filters coming, like I call them Snapchat filters, but something similar, that is coming to spice up your meets. Currently, it's not yet available, I see, but when we look at the post, it's going to be available pretty soon for all of us. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. You can go to the next slide.
Yeah, Brecht, please.
Are we on the next slide? Yeah, sorry. So yeah, now the other thing that's coming, and it's already there, we can all click on Celebrate. And if we all click on Celebrate at the same time, you get this beautiful confetti spring. So it's really cool. Also something to keep you focused during your meet. So that's pretty cool, sharing a reaction to really see more audience interaction.
I was going to say, I think that although it looks fun, it's actually a bit of a breath of fresh air for some of the people that do learning and do content sharing, because actually the reactions, not everyone's going to show their camera, not everyone's going to react, but this is a nice little a way of showing it. I'm here, I'm listening. So thank you very much, especially Emma right now, Oliver. There you go. Thank you very much.
Yeah, pretty cool.
We have a question. Should we answer? Let's do a question. Go ahead, Thomas. You've got a question there. Or perhaps the wrong button. So it was emoji, but hands up. Sorry.
There's no.
It was the wrong button. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
No worries. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And like Pablo said, for people who are in trainings, pretty cool.
Okay, next one, Simon.
Yes, so search chips in Google Chat. These have been expanded from a mobile feature to the web. So basically how it works is that in the search bar, so in either chat.google.com or in your chat mobile app, you enter your keyword, and then on the search results page, you'll see these filter chips. So for example, there's some here on the page, from, said, in, date, so on and so forth. And you can basically then use these to expand and apply the filter on your search keyword. So just another example of Google, doing what it does best in terms of its search capability. So that's
but I do think that search chips makes life a lot easier for a lot of people, because I did a lot of end user training in the past, and I've always had a lot of questions about how the searching functionalities work. And yeah, basically it starts with explaining these filters and how they work. That can really help people to better find their information. But that's because that's what people are often doing.
Exactly.
Okay, next one.
Yes, and this is another update for Google Chat. And this is actually, I would say, like a productivity streamline feature. And the start group conversation option or feature has been removed. So you will not need to select that when starting a group conversation, which is great, because normally you go into chat, you have to select the option start group conversation. That option's been removed, and now you will be able to just create conversations by entering recipients' names and get started right away. So that has been removed, start group conversation. Or it will be when it's released for everyone.
Removing a click is something I always like.
Exactly.
Okay, moving on to collaboration. And another feature is I think also a nice one, and it's about the flow of sharing files. In the past, what you had to do if you wanted to share a specific file for a specific period, you first needed to share a file, and then you needed to go back into the sharing settings and change the time that the other person was allowed to view the file. And now you can do that from the start. I think that's really good. And you can share a file, and you can immediately set an expiration date that the file is being sent. And it makes, I think, your information a lot safer. So I think this is a really good feature, because especially people that didn't even know it was possible, we really have to explain that this feature is there, which is, I think, really powerful. That you can only share it for a week, 2 weeks, a month, etc. So the flow has just changed, and that makes the feature, I think, a lot better. Other thing also in sharing, you can compare it a bit, but if you share a file, you might have seen it already. You will also see suggestions, and these suggestions are based on people you're sharing your files with in the past a lot. So I think that's also really nice. I used it a lot already. If you share, you already see maybe your manager that you're sharing files with, or another colleague where you're collaborating a lot with. So also really powerful. Next
unmute.
one, Bert.
So yes, I'm here. So next one is the trust rules. So this is pretty cool as well because it allows you to limit collaboration points, and this usually happens when you have sensitive information going across teams, or when you have an organization that has multiple subsidiaries that you don't want to communicate. For example, then you are actually able to block sharing between these two entities. And you can also then limit, so you block it for certain entities, and then on top of that, you have a layer of trust rules of certain individuals that can collaborate. So that's pretty cool, where you can, it's a little bit the same as with spam rules. So you can either show it with a warning and say, look, you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, or you can block it right out the get-go. So that's pretty cool.
Can I just go over a scenario for that? So it sometimes it's a little bit difficult to understand why you would do that. Why would you restrict certain employees? But if you have contractors, if you have staff that are temporary, this is the ideal scenario for that. You want only contractors to have certain access or certain level of information. This is that perfect scenario to do that. And again, you can have different types of these sharing rules for different types of contractors or employees.
I think one of the biggest ones also that I see is you can limit sharing based on domain name. So you can just say to your entire domain, you are not allowed to collaborate with Gmail accounts, for example. So that you're saying, okay, look, you're not sharing files with Gmail accounts because those are consumer accounts. So this is another application that we can use.
Yeah, I think it's a really powerful feature that was added to Share Drive. Okay. Drive approvals. Pablo.
Okay, so I think we need a little bit of background on this one because it's an enhancement of an existing feature, but I'm not sure if everyone's aware of the existing feature. So I want a show of hands. I'm the first one to ask for a show of hands. Who all knows or has used the approvals process in Google Docs? So I'm going to give you a few seconds to answer. So raise your hand. I've got one who's straight up. You've definitely used it a lot, Daniel. That's clear. And any more hands? We must have more than one hand, because if we've only got one hand, I'm definitely going to show you that. I've got two hands. Ooh, okay. 2 out of 60-something people. Right, that's not enough. Okay, then in that case, I will have to show you that feature. I know, it's very sad. I do agree. Okay, so let's share a tab. Let's use the share tab function from within Docs. You've got to love a live demo. All right, present this tab. So here's a blog I wrote last night. I actually cheated. I used the chat GPT bot to make my blog. Don't tell anyone. And in here, I want that approval from Simone, Brecht, and Wouter before I can publish it. So in a Google Doc, I can literally go into approvals. And it's been around for a while. Even that new chip from the features is gone. So I'm very sad that not many people use it. So what you can do here is that you can say, actually, I need to make a request. It will email the person and tell them, hey, you need to make an approval on this document. So let's go for Simone. There you go. And Wouter. Oops, I was spelling your name wrong. Sorry, Wouter. Okay, you can add a message. And then a date due. So in this case, I'll do it today. And here's an important set of options here. You can allow approvers to edit the file. So, oh, there's a spelling mistake here. I'll change that and then approve. Or you can leave it, and so they have to let you know that they're making a change. Or you can lock the entire file, so that's even the editor is stopped from editing it by default until the approval's done, which is good. So if I send that approval, they all get emails. They get pasted in Drive, in Gmail. Okay, here we go. So I need them to, I give them editor right, but because the file's locked, it still won't let them edit by default. So that's fine. If I unlock the file, they'll be able to edit it. File is being locked, so I'm just going to reload it. There we go. So I can't make any edits unless I unlock it. Because I'm the owner of the file, I'll be able to unlock it. And I can view the pending approvals. And these guys can go in, approve, leave a comment, all that kind of stuff. Really useful for this kind of thing, marketing, HR, all that kind of stuff. And the whole approval trail is shown in the document, which is really nice. And you can leave a comment and activity. It will also email those to these people. So Walter's already approved. Thank you very much, Walter. It will unlock the file once everyone's approved. Oh, someone's unlocked it for me. There we go. But by default, it will stay locked until approval's done. Oh, did I stop? I just started presenting. Okay. That's fine because I finished, so that's good. So back to the slides. This feature here means you can do that same approval in the Docs app on iOS and Android. So actually, when you think about this, this makes a lot of sense. People that approve generally tend to be on the move, managers are very busy. So actually, the fact you can review and accept or reject on an iOS or Android app is a great move from Google, especially if you're on a tablet. Although I have a manager that's always on a tablet, and so he says, "Sorry, can't approve till I get back to my computer at home." So no more excuses. Great. So hopefully that's a good new feature that everyone's aware of now as well, and to be able to do it on mobile. Good. Oh, I'm glad. Well, I'm glad I reminded you of the feature.
Yeah, there's a question, I think.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look. Oh. So is there a way to get an overview of approved documents without checking each doc individually? Yes, there is in Google Drive. You should be able to see that in the actions or task list. I'll show that if we get some time at the end. Yes, you can. And also Cloud Search is going to show you all the documents that you either have pending approval or you need to approve. So Cloud Search, everyone forgets about that.
One thing that's also really cool, in the Google Chat, you have a Google Drive bot that you can add, and anything that happens in terms of comment and approval, like I can show, for example, if I briefly share my screen, I've got a notification saying that I need to approve Pablo's document. So that's a Google Chat bot that you can add. So Pablo Sava requested approval for a blog. So then in this actually everything that people have tagged me on in files will also appear. So you can have like an overview here.
It's an insight into your world, Brecht. That's good.
Yeah, I see some more questions coming in, Pablo.
Yeah, I'll answer two more if there is two more, and then we can take them more at the end because we've got some more to cover. So there's one about adding a template after. Unfortunately, not just the same way without approvals. Adding a template after the document's been created is the same. So you can't. You would have to not approve. I don't know what that is. Deny the approval and say no. Move this to a template and then ask me for approval again on a different document. So unfortunately, Brett, no. But it's actually a good feature request. So in Google Docs, definitely put a feature request for that in the send feedback section. Do we have another question? Let me just check.
I thought in the Q&A was another question.
Yeah, there was another one. Is there a template? Okay, it's the same question, but he's put it in the questions.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Perfect. In that case, Walter, you can share again, and we'll move to the next one. It's me again. Okay, a nice one for the developers and those that like to dabble in code. There's no reason not to document that really cool app script you made now, because you can do code snippets in Docs. I know I used to use a table and then put it in the table and format it, but now you can do that by default. And it should be out now. It was in December. It was announced. I think I see it now. Give it a go. Yeah, just really nice. I know probably shouldn't live in Google Docs. You still use your dev repository like GitHub and that stuff, but if you're documenting, it's much nicer for sure.
And I think it's also a nice building block, and that's a feature that was implemented a year ago. You can add all kinds of building blocks like meeting notes, etc., which I think are also really powerful. And I think the best thing I like about the building block is also the linking to, for instance, a calendar meeting, etc. And so we see that Google is building on these features. Okay, let's continue to the next one. The next one is also for me, and that's something I would like to demo as well. Like building blocks, also smart chips have been implemented in the last year. And what you can do now is really also add files into a sheet. That's what I do a lot with all kinds of sheets. We keep track of all kinds of things, and there's, for instance, a document, for instance, like a proposal that you've made for a customer, and you can really import that file into your sheet. It's basically, of course, a link. Let me show you that. I can go to my Google Drive. I have a folder for the webinar, and I can create my Google Sheet. And here I can easily create a Google Sheet. So for instance, for a customer, I create a proposal. I can make a status. To do it like this, it's better. Customer A, status, drafted. And well, as you can think of all kinds of other stuff. And here you can insert all kinds of links or files now. That can also be really, you saw the Smart Chip feature already. You could also copy it in this case. You can select a specific file, like this text file. And as you can see, it's really now inside of the document. And you can click on it and easily collaborate on the document again. Yeah, so I think that's a really nice and a really nice added feature. Handing back to you, Pablo.
Nice. So this one, I don't think I can demo it yet because I have yet to see it, but it's coming. Well, it says December 8th, but for some reason I don't see it yet. So it's a gradual rollout. But if you've ever gone into a document in Drive and you thought, well, I don't know what page you're talking about. What paragraph are you editing? I can't see if they're not showing screen. So you can click the icon at the top right of the document. If you click that icon, it will take you straight to where they are in the document. In slides, that never happened, but the slides now that is introduced with an extra you can follow. So if you click that person, it will let you follow them where, oh, it's actually live. I've just tested it now as well. So you can follow that person through the deck. So as they change the slide they're looking at, it will change what slide you see in your page as well, which is really useful, especially when you're collaborating on a slide deck, which happens a lot when you're doing proposals. Yeah, you can see what slide they're referring to when they're talking about what to edit. So good. I'm going to ask another question because I want some interaction. Who would find this extremely useful and has been waiting for this to come because they've been frustrated that it isn't there? Hands up. No one. Oh, okay. We've got some clapping. That's good. And one hand. God, okay. Maybe it's too early in the UK. I just. Okay, good. All right. Thanks, guys. You might have me in a different screen or window. I appreciate that. You're struggling to find the window again, but that's fine. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay. So next feature that's here is a very simple one that has been requested a lot, and that is why can only a manager share folders on a shared drive? Well, not anymore in February. From then on, content managers will be able to share subfolders in shared drive. It will be a shared drive setting on your shared drive, so it will be per shared drive. So that's a pretty cool feature. I think, yeah, I see a lot of clapping. It's a small one, but a big one in turn, you know. So that's pretty cool that that's coming.
Okay, then we're moving on to the technical side of Google Workspace.
Yes.
Brecht,
I think the next one's also me, yeah. So what's pretty cool here as well is that Google Takeout is no longer an additional service. It's this time embedded in the admin console, and instead of turning it off and on, nowadays you can really choose what different objects users are able to export from their account. So here you can really, if somebody has been extensively using Google Photos, you know, then you can at least allow them to export their Google Photos and not their Gmail, for example. So this is some pretty cool feature to actually give some of that consumer power back to your users, and of course limited by the same effect.
I want to add one thing as well. This change does not mean that admins can use Takeout to extract data from users' accounts. That you must be logged in as the user, so the user must log in to use this service. It is not an administrative extract of data. I know that we get that question a lot. Why can't we use Takeout on our offboarding process? Simply because you're going to be logging into a lot of accounts to take that data out. So it's exactly as Brett said, it's more about the consumer services than anything else.
Yeah. And the logic behind that is that Google really wants to give the power back to the users in general, where you're able to export everything. So it's really was a consumer service and now more about it. So yeah, you're right, Pablo, thanks. And talking about exports as an admin, that's the next feature. So yeah, Pablo, I heard you coming from a mile away. This is indeed the question that we got. So to actually further accommodate exports on the domain level, Google is going to introduce, or has introduced actually, the export data for your users. It was possible in the past to just click export all my data, and you would just get like everything in an archive format, your entire domain, mail, and drive. You could be able to download. What Google added here in functionality is, okay, I want to download chunks, so you can have like create a group or organizational unit, and then you can just download all the data from those users and yeah, keep them in an archive format, put them somewhere where you think they belong. But this is something that's really cool. Yeah, if you want to export data. So that's again giving a little bit of power back to the admins to quickly be able to pull data out of Google Workspace. Yeah.
Next one.
So I think this one it's available to all SKUs, but you may not want it on all SKUs. So the key here is that you can set storage limits on shared drives. Now, this is useful if you have a domain-wide storage limit. What we find is that, and you have a bottomless pit of a shared drive to put files into, you're a bit more liberal with putting those big heavy duty files in there. So you end up with 1 or 2 shared drives taking up a lot of that storage. So in order to mitigate that as an admin, you can now set the storage limit on those shared drives. So handy for users or companies or customers that need to keep an eye on that storage limit for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, just click the link, the supporting link.
Okay, a notification. So I want a show of hands. There might not be that many admins, so that's fine. But I'd love to know how many of you use the alerting section in the admin console for alerts for things you might have set up, like reports. So we got 1 hand straight away. That's good. 2. Oh, we got a few. More than the people that knew about the approval flows. That's good. Okay, that's a good sign. So if you use these, you'll be really happy to know that you get a history now of notifications for things that are normally emailed, of things that are changing in the admin console. A good example of that is the deprecation of Password Vault, for example. So that notification that you need to move away from Password Vault is now in the Alert Center, so you can look it up in history, and any admin that has access to the Alert Center can see it. And then you can also, because it's in the Alert Center, you can tag an owner, you can set the status as complete, which is really good actually, because especially for those action items that you do need to do because things are changing, it's a lot easier to keep track in the admin console than it is in some poor person's mailbox that needs to action that and then get told off because they didn't. So that's what's changing there.
Okay, Simone.
Sorry, yes, room release. So basically in the current day and age of hybrid work environment, room release is an existing feature that will now be turned on by default. So this basically means that booked meeting rooms, when all but one attendee declines the invitation, the room will be released. And this basically helps admins and colleagues to have better context for location planning, meeting room management, and accommodating attendees. I think with a lot of people, obviously, returning back to the office or maybe not working from the office, there might be a lack of meeting rooms when, everyone comes in for their 2 days or 3 days a week in the office. This just helps with the better availability of meeting rooms. There will be a transition period up until basically from now until the 6th of March. And I believe after this transition period, there'll be a global setting for admins where you can have it on or off for all rooms in a domain, or an opt-out for each individual room resource. I'm just going to point to the little link in the bottom left-hand corner of this slide. There's a lot of information there. So I'd encourage, this deck will be shared, and I encourage you all to go and have a look there, because there's quite a bit of information about this feature being turned on and how to manage it.
Okay, thanks. Okay, then some recent blog posts. Brecht.
Yes, so we've been writing a couple of blog posts in the past quarter, and I wanted to highlight them here. Some pretty interesting insights about Google Workspace and our experience. We tried to condense in these short articles. A couple of ones that are pretty interesting is like, do you need a backup tool with Google Workspace? A question we get a lot. And here we share our experience and what actually our insights are. Okay, look, what should you keep in mind with a backup tool? Another one that's pretty interesting on here is GAM. So I think a lot of you people, maybe I'll also ask for a show of hand who's been using GAM recently.
Quite some people.
No. So we've shared some insights in about, okay, how secure is GAM? It's pretty secure, but how securely is it deployed on your side, and where do you put it, and where do we usually put it, and what do we recommend in terms of using it securely? That's pretty interesting. And then also we shared the data loss prevention, so how to implement data loss prevention for Google Drive, a little bit of a hands-on guide on how you can approach your data, how you can categorize your data, and then actually turn your data into information, and then of course classify that information. So we've also got a couple of cool change blog posts there. So the 3 change management tips that will make your IT projects a success in 2023. Pretty cool insight of how to grab your business and move them along the change, and then how to make a timeline view with Google Sheets. That's a small introductory blog post. Okay, how do we use the feature internally? And I think the last one I haven't talked about is the third-party applications in Google Workspace. So I don't know if you know, but you're able to log into pretty much any service with your Google account, and it's pretty interesting to see and what we have seen in the past of what company corporate addresses are used for, and it ranges from Tinder to Facebook, so to LinkedIn. So people are using their corporate account to log into these consumer accounts, and how you can regulate that, and how you can spot that, and how you can block that. So
yeah,
that's also pretty interesting read.
Important to note that the link to this blog post, you can find it in the slide deck. Okay? The slide deck will be shared, and you can just click this picture to see the.
I would say that third-party application one is probably the one that we find most interesting here at Devo Team when customers ask for a report of all the apps. So yeah, that's with great power, as they say. So use that list wisely if you do pull it.
Yes.
Yes.
I can see somebody has their hand up. So Matthew White, I'm not sure if that's a question or maybe up from the GAM.
It was up from GAM,
Yeah.
I think, maybe. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that brings us to the end. Pablo, any last words?
No, actually, I think the timing is pretty good here. We've just left a little bit more time for any questions that anyone might have. Put your hand up, and then we'll go through them. Or if you want to write the question, I know not everyone's super comfy with speaking in front of a big crowd. So if you want to type them as well in the question section, go for it. If we don't get any questions in about a minute or so, we can close up. Excellent. I see one. Emma, do you want to unmute and ask a question?
Hi, Pablo.
Hi.
I'm wondering if you could show me the overview of the approved documents in Drive.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let me see if we can grab that now. So bear with me. I'm a big fan of using Cloud Search for this kind of thing. So let's see if we can get it from there. So for anyone who actually, while I'm getting that ready, show of hands who knows and has used Cloud Search while I just get that ready. No rookie questions. I just saw someone, sorry for a rookie question. No such thing as a rookie question, don't worry. Let's have a look. Oh, I think Cloud Search may not have that anymore. They used to definitely have it. All right, so let's go to the Drive interface. So in Drive, you can see actions, and I need to just check if it's in search. Yeah, in search. I'm not showing my screen. It's just that I have my live account, not a demo account. So I'll just have to show you. Here we go. I can show it to you now. A window. No, a tab. Let's do a tab. Tab. Drive. Oh, I've got way too many tabs open. Bear with me a second. There it is. So when you go into the Drive UI, in the search options, you can tick the box that says waiting for my approval or requested by me, and that will show you all of those documents. Okay, perfect.
Other thing is, in the beginning when I demoed the meeting transcript, I also promised to share it, and it has now landed in my inbox.
Perfect.
That's what I wanted to show you. And even it was, you could see it earlier, because when I did the demo for the sheets, I also saw that I added basically the transcript for that meeting. But as you could see, I started the recording and I did a transcript, and I can just click on the link there. And you see a Google Doc. The name is the Meet ID, so it connects to your calendar, and you can see that my name is in it. I was the only attendee, of course, and everything that I said was written in this document. So really nice.
Nice. It's nice because you were the only one talking in that call. It does show you the name of everyone and who said what. Please take this with a massive pinch of salt. I looked at one of the transcripts the other day, and it can come up with odd sentences. Interestingly enough, swear words start out, so you can't search on the swear words. So just note that as well if you're looking for someone who's been abusive. But the languages supported are only English right now, unfortunately. Hopefully, we see more languages coming soon. We have another question as well.
It's about the questions. What's the best way to be on time with the changes in Google Workspace? So the main resource that posts all the updates is the Workspace blog. And there, all our links refer to that as well. So if something new is going to be released or is released, it will show up in the blog.
There's also an RSS feed you can use for that. If you are a dab hand at a little bit of coding, you can make a chatbot. I think someone did in Devotee make a chatbot for that, so it pings you. But yeah, you can get creative with RSS feeds and all that stuff. So you get that update everywhere.
Okay, I think this wraps up our session, if I'm correct.
Good. Well, thank you very much. Anyone else in the team want to wrap up there? Oh, there's. Do we have time for another question, Marta? Do we?
Yeah, we do.
Go for it.
Christina?
Hi. Yeah. I just wanted to share that on my end, because my team and I, we are really keen to explore how Google Workspace can help us with project management. So probably because this is something really new for us. So if we were to look for, like, is there any place or anyone or any contact that we can go to set up maybe like a demo session?
Yes, of course. We can certainly help you. And I think the feature that I've showed you with adding documents is really powerful. And also, I think some new features were released for project management even. There are some new, how do you call it, templates available in Google Sheets that you can use. And it can be helpful. So what I will do is I will drop my email address, send me an email, and we can certainly help you with that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the timeline blog post is pretty interesting for that one as well. I dropped it in the chat also.
Okay. Yeah.
I was talking away. I think we're over now, so we're going to close up. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Feel free to reach out and look forward to seeing you in the next session.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Let me see that. I can't end this for everyone. It's grayed out.
The recording?
No, the whole meet. So usually if I click leave, it doesn't let me end for everyone. So